Hey y'all, and welcome back to part 2 of our Glamour Tribe custom inspired tumbler tutorial. I showed you these before in part 1, but I'm going to show you again because they are amazing enough to be worthy of showing you a second time. These are the Glamour Tribe rub-on transfers from Southern Belle Glitter. This is the full bundle of 26. You can also get these in categorized packs of 3, such as pinks, purples, blues, brights, and so on. So although I encourage it to get the pack of 26, you can get these in smaller bundles. In part 1, we used a lot of blues, and for this one, we are going to use purples and pinks. We're starting out with a 24-ounce plump from the Steel Magnolia, and I'm using cinnamon and violet from the Colorfix collection. I'm going to add a little bit of black paint to darken these up a little bit to match the colors on the transfer a little bit better. The COLORFLEX Colorfix Paints are paint, primer, and adhesive all in one. I prefer using the epoxy method to apply my glitter to tumblers, so I don't necessarily use these too much as an adhesive unless I'm doing a lot of very small detail, such as stripes or something like that on the tumbler, and it's really awesome that I'll usually do a layer of paint, allow that to dry or dry it with my heat gun, go in with that second layer, and apply my glitter immediately after painting on that second layer. They are super easy to mix, and they do have a little bit of a longer dry time, so it gives you plenty of time to mix your colors together, add in, a little here or there to get whatever perfect color that you want. What is crazy though is right after I recorded this tutorial, they actually come out with a new bundle that are like these outdoorsy neutral colors that are pretty much all of the colors that I normally try to mix using multiple of the Colorfix paints. So I'm super pumped about that and cannot wait to get these colors in. I'll have a link down below in case you want to add those to your Colorfix collection, or if you haven't tried them before, they are really awesome and those are perfect fall and holiday colors. The best way to apply these paints is to use an all-over makeup brush. I like using the extra large one because it really helps blend those colors together, as you can see if I'm doing an ombre, and it gives excellent streak-free coverage with the paint. So after I allow my paint to dry, you can either sit it to the side for 30 minutes to an hour, or you can dry it up quickly with a low heat setting on your heat gun. It will not bubble or crack underneath as long as you have really nice even coats and the paint is not super thick on there. I'm going in with about a milliliter of ARTISTRY's 1:1 ratio fast set epoxy, and the first glitter color that I'm using, which is one of my favorites, is Bow Down from PDB Creative Studio. It's a beautiful purple with a green shift, which is perfect for the purples and the hints of green that we have in our rub-on transfer. And this can look totally different on different color bases. I am starting from the center and I want a very blended ombre. So I'm holding my cup almost at a 90-degree angle so that the glitter falls all the way to the top and the bottom rims of this tumbler. Make sure that you knock off your excess so you don't contaminate the next glitter that you use, and it can save whatever falls on your paper. And the next color we're using is Desert Rose. This is the medium cut, I believe. And I'm going to go in heavy around the top and the bottom rims, and once again hold my tumbler at an angle and allow that glitter to fall towards the center of the tumbler. These two colors blended incredibly well, and I was so happy with the way that this turned out. After I applied both glitters, I knocked off that excess and then I rolled it in a piece of printer paper. You can also use parchment paper for this. You just want to flatten out that glitter so that it eliminates multiple coats of epoxy and helps with some sanding. I gave this tumbler 2 coats of epoxy and very lightly sanded after my first coat before applying that second one, so it would be nice and smooth to apply our transfer to. And y'all, I have to point out once again, look at how good our glitter colors matched this transfer. I was so excited about that. And just completely ignore the the part of the backing that I just trimmed off the transfer. I did trim off the wrong side. You want to do a vertical side. That way you can work your way around the curve of the tumbler. Of course, if you trim off that top portion and it sticks down, you won't be able to remove the rest of the backing as you're working your way down towards the bottom of the tumbler. You want to work around the curve, not against it. I hope that makes sense, but I have made that mistake many times before, just not thinking of where I'm trimming the back off. So just make sure that you do trim vertically so you can work over that curve. And you're going to take that little wooden stick that comes with the rub-on transfers. You're going to start in that first little spot that you stuck your transfer down and just use the hinge method to press that backing off as you are rubbing the transfer down with that wooden stick. If you need some help on nailing that rub-on transfer application, check back on my tutorials. I just recently did a full tutorial on just how to apply these rub-on transfers, how they work, and how to avoid making mistakes with them. Once I have this transfer rubbed down really well, I'm just going to go back and make sure that I have those edges around the side down really well. And then I'm going to grab one piece of that sheet that is on top, and I'm actually pulling it towards me this time and up, so that there's a little bit of tension on it, but not too much. And make sure you are holding the opposite side down so it doesn't just try to rip off towards you. We are also using the heart leopard print on the double-sided adhesive shape tape from Artistry for this one as well. But before you move into this step where we are going to apply glitter to these spots, make sure that you give your tumbler a nice matte clear coat of spray paint. My favorite is the Color Shot matte because it dries really fast. That will help with a couple of things. One, it will help prevent any repelling of your epoxy from your rub-on transfer. So it's really good if you go over your rub-on transfers after they're applied with a matte clear coat before doing your epoxy application. And doing the matte clear coat will also prevent any glitter from sticking to the glossy surface of your tumbler once we apply it to this double-sided adhesive. I have used this heart leopard file many times before in the past. It is from Creative Fabrica. And as I mentioned in part 1, my blade is pretty dull and needs to be replaced on my Cricut machine. So I did use the iron-on setting, not in reverse, of course. I just used the regular iron-on setting to cut through the top layer and the double-sided adhesive layer, but not the back on this double-sided adhesive. If you have a newer blade on your machine or a new blade, you should be able to use the Vinyl Plus setting to cut through those first 2 top layers. Now I'm just going to take these and place them one by one onto my tumbler. You can save some time and apply them with transfer tape. You're just going to want to, one, Make sure that you have a coat of epoxy over top of your transfer before you use any sort of transfer tape. As soon as that transfer tape touches your rub-on transfer, it's going to pull up portions of it. So just keep that in mind if you want to make it a little bit quicker to apply your spots. Then make sure that you give your tumbler a coat of epoxy before doing so. Give it a clear matte coat of spray paint, and then you can add on your spots. Now, I very, very rarely mix glitters because, for one, PDB Creative Studio has some incredible mixes. They have tons of them, so normally I can find the exact color that I need with no problem. However, for this one, this rub-on transfer has some light pinks, dark pinks, there's little hints of burgundy, purple, and there's even some like coppery orange color in there as well. So I am using Fast and Furious, Frose All Day, and I'm even going to add in some gingerbread here in a minute to add in some of those coppery sparkles to just pull everything together. And again, I'm adding in a little bit of gingerbread to my mix of Frose All Day and Fast and Furious. And these are three colors that I would have never thought would look good together mixed. But look at how it turned out once I put it on this tumbler. I mean, it just pulled every color out of that rub-on transfer and took it all the way around the tumbler. And I also wanted to tell y'all something I normally, or I don't think I have ever actually said in my tutorials, that I don't just walk into my room and say, oh, this, and this is going to look good together, and I'm going to make a cup with it. It's a long process, and I know it can be stressful. I had probably 20 different glitters sitting on my desk, mixing each of them, trying to find a color, and I would take a piece of the double-sided adhesive and put it on the bottom of this tumbler and sprinkle each glitter mix that I did on the bottom to see how I liked it and if it matched. Y'all only see the best part, and even still, I show my mistakes in my tutorials and my hurdles that I have to go through to get the results that I get, and sometimes I'm not even happy with the final result. I mean, don't even get me started on layering vinyl. I waste so much, and sometimes I will replace a decal 3 times before I'm happy with the color combination. My point being is, art can be difficult. It takes time, it takes patience, which I do not have a lot of. Y'all might see me toss a cup in a tutorial or throw some vinyl to the side, but you do not see the entire picture. These tutorials are edited so that I can give you very clear and concise direction on how to use products or create a design. So don't ever compare yourself to a tutorial process, as all of the crazy has been cut out and my room looks like a couple bombs have went off. Okay, so I got a little sidetracked, but after you apply your glitter to your double-sided adhesive, you're going to give that a couple coats of matte clear coat, and you can finish off with your final layers of epoxy. This is part 2 of the Glamour Tribe inspired tumbler tutorials, so definitely go back and check out part 1 if you haven't already. All the materials that I used in this tutorial will be listed down below with some coupon codes for you. That is all for today. Thank you all so much, and we will see you next time.